MJ is the moon, and LeBron James is the sun. Before you go spouting off about anti-MJ slander and heresy and come to the simple conclusion of,
it's simple, we kill.
Hoop mind. Put your pitchforks away, actually watch the video, and hear me out. This is a comparison of Jordan and LeBron, but it's not a GOAT argument.
Out of the way, you!
The sun is not better than the moon, at least in this scenario. This isn't a knock against the sun or the moon or MJ or LeBron. They're just different. Their careers were different, and this is an attempt to explain that difference. A lot of that difference comes down to gravity. Gravity is actually a fairly simple subject, and it can basically be described as stability. The bigger and heavier something is, the more gravitational force it has. The sun, for example, has enough gravitational force to pull Earth and all the other planets in our solar system into orbit around it. The moon is almost the opposite of the sun. Where the sun stabilizes the planets, the moon is stabilized by Earth's gravity, which in turn is stabilized by the sun.
Spare me your space age techno-babble-a-tilla-the-hun.
Without either the sun or the moon, Earth doesn't survive a single day. Different, not unequal. So why is MJ the moon then? It all comes down to stability. Like the moon, MJ was stabilized. He got drafted to the Bulls, who weren't the best, but they had Jerry Reinsdorf, and Reinsdorf was one of the best owners in NBA history. He hired Jerry Krause, who came in when Jordan was a rookie and proceeded to be arguably the best GM in basketball for nearly 2 decades. Yeah, him and MJ didn't always get along, but The Last Dance painted Krause in a bad light because of their differences. He was a basketball genius who built amazing teams around MJ. Krause found Phil Jackson, who came in 1987 and proceeded to build a perfect culture around Jordan, becoming the greatest players coach of all time. Jackson and Krause brought in players like Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, BJ Armstrong, Ron Harper, Tony Kukoc, and Dennis Rodman to play around Jordan, creating consistently great teams that allowed him to compete for titles year after year. They were so good at their jobs that after MJ retired to play baseball, the team went 55-27 without the best player in the world. MJ was stabilized by his environment. He was stabilized by his ownership, GM, coach, team. Everything was built around keeping him in one place and allowing him to succeed and be his best there. On the other side of the coin, we have LeBron. LeBron's the sun. Let's dive a bit deeper into that. LeBron was drafted to the Cleveland Cavaliers, which, should have been an omen for what his career would look like. At 18 years old, he had an awful GM and a collection of subpar coaches throwing inadequate talent on overpriced contracts at LeBron while expecting something amazing.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know, something amazing, I guess.
He somehow managed to drag Cleveland's lifeless corpse to the 2007 finals, but he had to leave. Nothing good was coming from Cleveland. Then on, it was like LeBron made a vow to himself to never sit back and wait for others to provide him the help he needed. He promised he would bring the stability wherever he went, using his massive gravitational pull to lock in the players and coaches he wanted around him. Here's a list of the teams LeBron has played on, with the record the season before he arrived, his first season there, and then the season after he left. Just look at those changes in record. No matter where LeBron goes, he forces everyone and everything into orbit around him. He brings stability to franchises, controlling everything and inevitably ending up in a championship game. MJ had a near perfect situation in Chicago. Great ownership, one of the best coaches in NBA history, consistent, strong supporting cast. He was the moon, and his team stabilized him. LeBron started in a tough spot and has honestly gone from mediocre situation to mediocre situation. Other than Miami, where it was more of a case of bad timing with Dwayne Wade breaking down than anything else, he has had bad ownership, bad coaches, and subpar supporting casts in relation to the teams he's playing against. He is the sun, and his immense gravity stabilizes every planet he pulls in, at least until he leaves for a new solar system, dumping a lifeless shell of a planet in his wake. now, maybe he finally found something that can last in LA. He's got a great GM who's made the right moves, and he's got a superstar teammate who's ready to shine. And maybe LeBron can finally chase MJ's ring count in earnest. But this isn't a GOAT argument. It's a comparison of situations, completely inverse and yet producing similar results. A comparison of the sun and the moon. That's all. If you enjoyed the video, think about giving HoopMind a like and share. Anything helps. See you soon.